Because if you don't understand how, you could absolutely do both of those things.
Let me tell you something. Having the comfort of your own relationship to get weird in is wonderful. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Hey, my loves. Thank you so much for joining us again. I know it's been a while. We've been in the streets. Okay. Don't judge me, judge your mama. I am your girl, Intisar Eleanor. This is my beautiful husband, Joseph.
Hey.
And we are back. We're just talking about all things Ready to Love season 8. We decided to wait a bit, admittedly, because it's too many people.
It's a lot of people.
It's just a lot of people. And in truth, it gets much easier to handle this the smaller the group gets.
And they still cutting multiple people. Like they cut 2 people this past episode.
Yeah.
And it still feel like it's 6 million people on it.
But I also feel like not many of them are giving.
Well, yeah, like the girl, Leanne, she just wasn't even in an episode.
I know, and I like Lee.
It was the episode before last, wasn't it?
Yeah, the episode before last was about
there.
non-negotiables. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they cut Lee out. I guess that's something we'll hear at the reunion. But it did feel like, I know she has interest, but it's like she's not going on any dates with any of her interests.
Yeah, I was assuming that she wasn't on there because nobody asked her out. Like nobody asked her they was only really filming the people who went out with people and was, you know.
Yeah, but admittedly, so not to single her out, but the other new guy, the one that was they threw him in there, he also didn't have a date. We got literally a list.
We got a list,
okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's dig on in. They spoke today. First of all, I want to take a step back. The episode before was non-negotiables. The men had the control to get rid of a woman, and they chose to get rid of Unique. And if you all don't remember Unique, she was married, now no longer married, but didn't have the best energy.
Nah, she was low-key terrible.
I don't want to give her terrible. It's funny how terrible. They casted someone who I feel is like a polarizing personality. Like there are so many people in the world who have dealt with other humans and have been scarred, traumatized, whatever, and that is the product. You know what I mean? Like constantly trying to work it out, as well as constantly bringing it up.
Yeah, because she's not so much polarizing to me, more so than broken. Like she is.
They don't call her broken. I don't like that.
She's broken, and I think that this is like. It was turning people off. You know what I mean? You know, the guy asked her a question. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me go back. I said that Leanne wasn't in one of the previous episodes. It was Lee. We still figuring him out.
Who is Leanne?
Leanne is all the way at the top. Lee is who we was talking about, the gym owner.
Oh, Lord.
They
Jesus.
even look alike, though.
I know.
Anyway, Unique, the guy asked her something about, like, you know, how do you feel about the healing process or what you, and she was just like, I think healed is subjective. I.e., she was agreeing that she didn't even think she was healed. And she didn't, hold on, let me finish, because I'm getting somewhere with this. She didn't, which that was the one thing she said that I respected, because she kind of alluded to the fact that, like, I'm acknowledging that I'm not really healed because I'm still this thing, like you think you over something, then it pops up or it triggers you or something like that. But my biggest issue with her and people like her are that in dating scenarios with people who have nothing to do with their trauma, they lead with their trauma. So she walking up to people like,
okay,
you know,
I'll go there.
You know, I don't fuck around. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they like, I just asked what kind of ice cream you like.
And
you know
that is, to your point, an indication that she isn't completely healed.
Yeah.
However, I thought her answer to that question is spot on. I think that you don't go through anything. And I think healing is a journey. Which I agree with. Healing is the journey. You know what I mean? Like being healed is the journey of healing, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that you get to spaces. It's people who cheated on day one. 50 years later, and maybe even a mention of a certain thing is going to give them a tinge. So to me, I do understand what she's saying. The issue therein lies that she had led with it for so long.
Because although I agree that it's a process, there's levels to it. There's a spectrum. And so she's on the end of the spectrum shouldn't be out here really ready to date. You know what I mean? There is definitely a spectrum where, you know, you lose a family member, you're never truly healed. But on day 2 after the funeral, you don't react to things the same as you react in day 2000 and years from now. You know what I mean?
I think
think that it's a spectrum, and she's just not there on the spectrum for me. And I just didn't like her attitude. I didn't like how she handled
Red.
I thought the whole situation,
the thought job and everything.
It was very weird.
That was weird.
And very hypocritical, because then inversely, he said something to her like,
well, you got a thought job.
Would you consider what you do a thought job? And she was super offended. You know what I mean? It kind of took us back to Married at First Sight, because a lot of y'all is on we watch the same stuff. So it kind of took us back to Married at First Sight, when Gina was calling him the redhead, and then he made a comment, and all of a sudden she found the offense.
Scenario.
It's the same thing. She found the offense, but when he did it, it was like, oh, I don't understand. You find this offensive? This is weird to me. You know what I mean? So I thought that was corny. I was ready for her to go.
I did think that was corny, and I do feel like it's so fascinating to me to watch people kind of like speed dating, because that's kind of what this is.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a short amount of time, so I will give them that. But a person's ability to balloon in a room with their emotional baggage, and this goes for many of them, not just her, it's so fascinating to me. Because it's like a lot of them are leading with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I recognize, like I said, this is not a short process, but like a steadfast, you know what I mean, rigorous, aggressive process. So I guess I give grace there. But I do think it's very fascinating how very few of them are giving space for people just to, like, let me just fill somebody out a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me just fill somebody out a little bit. And I think it's something to that, you know what I mean? And you could tell the girls who are doing that and the people who are doing that versus those who aren't.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to, and in truth, like, you'll have your non-negotiables, but what you put up with changes person to person. So when you go into things, what you ain't going to do, you will be surprised.
Yeah, that part.
You would be surprised.
But nobody wants to be...
At 38, 35, 30, 45, 50, you would be surprised.
And nobody wants to be greeted with that energy. That's not how you start a relationship. You know what I mean? You at a bar somewhere. Hey, sis, how you doing? Well, you know, I don't play around. Wait a minute. You know what I mean? Or a guy come up to you and he say, you know what? I got cheated before. So let me ask you straight up. Are you a cheater? Like... That would be weird. That's not how you... I just
think that's a weird question.
It is. That's not how you start
also stop asking people if they cheaters.
That part too.
I've cheated a ton of times. So it's like, just because I've done it doesn't mean that I would do it here. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's so weird when people, like, despite what y'all think, things change, people change, and other things change too. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just the days of the week. It's not just, you know what I mean, like the months. People change too. We all have seasons. And I think that, like, that's not a indication of your character because you was with somebody. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird.
It is a little weird because it is really projecting your relationship with this person who you just met off of something that they did with somebody else. And right. Which is what I hate. They did it with the guy.
Go ahead.
They did it with the guy Brandon, who had been married to the same woman multiple times. Everybody on the show, it felt like, had a problem with it. It was like, oh, you had multiple situations with her. Mind you, he got kids with this woman and everything. What?
No, like, how y'all feel about that? Because that's a really good point.
I just thought it was weird.
I felt like, bust in the comments, do y'all think that him being in a relationship, I have been stewing on that for a few weeks, was that reason to get rid of him? To me, maybe the 4 kids is reason. But the truth is... But
nobody even mentioned the kids. They all got 1,000 kids. They were all referencing him being married. And my thing is, I just watched it. What do y'all want? We just watched the show, again, going back to Married at First Sight, where somebody was up, there was a big thing that this person they weren't experienced enough.
Yeah. They
hadn't dated enough. They hadn't been in an heiress, hadn't been in enough real relationships, right? So you got a problem if a man has not had these long-lasting loving relationships. But then when he's married to the same woman, has kids with her, that was like the biggest red flag as well. So it's like, y'all got to pick and choose what y'all want.
I'm just curious about how, as a woman who's dating, as a person who's dating, how is that something that's like a non-negotiable? You know what I mean? Them being married twice to the same person, like how is that something that would hinder you from, I guess, moving forward with them? I'm just curious, you know what I mean? Like how that works out. But this particular episode, the women have, I don't even like, the women have the power. Like, what does that mean? But it's the women's chance to like decide if a man is ready to love in this process or not. And they go on these dates. So the first date was Chris and Aries. Now, let me say this. Out of every single couple here, they gave me good feelings.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I thought was really cool is that you understand that we get a little bit more breaking down the fourth wall. And that Aries said that they haven't even they've been communicating every day, but they haven't seen each other. So I don't know if that's due to, you can only see each other if you're being filmed kind of thing. But I do like, is his name Phil?
Who?
Oh, his name is Phil. Why I call him Chris?
No, you talking about Chris.
No, I'm talking about...
That went on a date with Aries?
No, I'm talking about Phil. Phil, excuse me.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, so many of these people, y'all.
Oh, because Chris and Aries did go on...
They did,
yeah,
but that was
what I thought.
Episodes before. We talking about this episode. And Phil and Aries go out, and to me, they had the best feels. Aries, I like her temperament so much. One, she has a way of being assertive and yet unbelievably feminine. Like soft. Not like soft. And it's funny because I'm kind of doing this like deep dive on like respectability politics and how that works with femininity, specifically femininity with Black women. But so I don't like to say like, feminine or whatever, because we kind of have to be assertive a lot. However, I like her. I like her vibe. She mad chill. And I feel like she's serious about wanting somebody in her life. And I think Phil would be a really, really good catch. And inversely, she was married before and has 2 boys.
Of course. I think you can be feminine and still be firm and assertive. And I think that it doesn't have to be one or the other. And I think that she is one of those people that actually presents that almost perfectly on the show.
I agree.
She doesn't feel like a pick me or a pushover or a walkover, but she's kind of reserved a little bit and kind of quiet. But when she speaks, you pay attention. She kind of moves like she demands respect. You know what I mean? And I think that that's why, I feel like Phil and Chris are really drawn to her in particular. And I think that that's a big part of why they are drawn to her. So yeah, I did like seeing them on a date.
I liked it. It felt good. It felt like really, I don't know. When I think of dating, that's what I think of. You know what I mean? It's heavy. We talk about some things, but we laugh, we giggle. And for a lot of people, the way they're introducing some of these topics, it's like...
terrible.
We need to talk about doubts.
Yeah.
Like, why do y'all have to set it up? Why can't y'all just have a conversation? I'm just curious how that affects the couples outside of here, always being fed the conversation versus just having it. And that's how you can tell they just have conversation. Yeah. Because when they started talking, it wasn't like with any pretense.
No, yeah.
They were just having a conversation, like you could tell. I think inversely, Jessica bought Chris lunch, which I loved. I thought that was really cute. She bought him lunch to his job. But I just didn't love the way, I don't know. She said something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So the previous episode, they did what do they call it? Improv. And at improv, Jessica and Chris got together and it was like they were having an argument because they had a car accident or something. And even the way that she spoke to him in a very assertive way. So I'm not going to say curt and nasty because she wasn't any of those things. She just was assertive. And he didn't receive that well. So when they were speaking on their date, he just said, I need to be spoken to a certain way. Like, you know what I mean? I get your boss and you're assertive and everything. But like, I want to be, I like it if you communicate with me like, the way I need you to communicate. And she said, I'm not going to speak like this just to get a man. And I thought, y'all are really hurt. Y'all are hurt.
You took the word out of my mouth.
If you would speak to a child a certain way to reverse any negative stigma that you may have incurred in your previous life, why wouldn't you in turn speak to your companion?
I just don't understand. So, and this is a big issue, especially within the black community. So I'm glad we touched on this.
I don't want to.
It is. It is. Like you said, you speak to your mother a certain way.
Right.
You speak to your boss a certain way. You speak to your boss's boss, your manager a certain way. You speak to your child a certain way. Why would it be a problem for you to speak to your spouse or your partner in a manner that is conducive of a healthy and happy relationship? Like she said, some of y'all are hurt and y'all don't even know how to process it, and y'all don't know how it's bleeding into your everyday lives and screwing up your relationships.
And as successful as she is, it's very fascinating because in truth, communicating differently with different people is a part of success.
It's just a part of life. Yeah.
I'm just not the same way with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, and that's okay. Like, that doesn't take away from your assertiveness because you heard your partner, your spouse, someone you're dating say, you know what? I think maybe you were a little bit too, I felt like it was a tone.
I think, and the idea that doing so makes you lesser of a human being is just juvenile to me. It's so adolescent to me. And I do appreciate the way that he brought it up afterwards, because I thought that the way she was talking to him during the thing was giving it was giving very corporate. You know what I'm saying? It was giving managerial. Right, and nobody was.
It was. Nobody. Even their interaction felt managerial.
1,000%. But nobody wants to be spoken to like that. Even when she was at the table after he brought it up, even when the way she was responding to him in the kitchen was like very much so like he was being reprimanded by his manager.
And I agree, and I do think that certain people speak based on how she was speaking in the ladies' lounge with the girls. It's very clear to me you know how to switch it up.
1,000%.
So it's just that you don't want to go into a relationship acquiescing, but you should have said that versus I'm not going to talk like this for no man, because everybody know a girl who will turn around and do bop 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 to anybody who go home to their man and be like, hey honey, da, 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 da. I'm one of them.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? So for me, it was just like, I feel you, sis, but wrong road. Like, you know what I mean? It is nothing wrong. First of all, it's so fascinating to me what the things y'all say y'all won't do, but y'all on a show.
I mean, literally a round Robin Hood, like a speed dating show.
This where you draw the line? Is this where you draw the line? That's what was fascinating to me. So I don't know. I the thing about Jessica though.
Jessica can go for me. It's just the attitude is not there yet. And to me, it takes a humbleness to be a part of a successful relationship that I don't feel like she has. You know what I mean? At every turn, it's giving this, it's giving that joint. Like at every turn, and it's like that's not how you become successful in a relationship. Like you said, the idea that this whole like I'm not fitting to change for nobody. Well, then you finna be single.
And also, like to me, was that a battle that needed to be like? Is it like what hill do y'all want to die on?
Right.
Because these hills be small.
Right.
Y'all be dying on these small hills, and y'all ain't even reached a big one yet. And you 30s, you ain't that much. Listen now. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Not going to age myself, but in truth, it's like,
and these aren't hills that you can die on and still be in a relationship. Like you can't be in a space where, you know, your posture is, I'm not going to bend for my partner. It's just the relationships is nothing but bending. It's nothing
Literally.
But, I mean, so the idea that you're going to walk in and walk out the same way you walked in is you're going to be alone.
It gives a little hurt too.
Yeah.
It gives a little, and I don't even know the story, and it could be not that. It could be completely opposite of that. But I just feel like I don't know people who aren't hurt that lead like that.
Yeah.
if we're being honest. So I want to talk about Ciara and the new guy. Miss Ciara, okay, went out with this man. Yo, what is it about Ciara that's aloof? Is it me or is she like all over the place? So Ciara goes on a date with the brand new bombshell, and she was like, I wasn't sure. I thought he was hatfishing because, you know, he got his little hair when they were at the hold down under the cowboy hat. Mm-hmm. Now, this man, I want to get with Ciara, but I also got to get with this man. So they go on this date and they talk about like nothing. Because in truth, I didn't feel like she was able to get anything across. Like she spoke about her feeling like, so they had this conversation. She asked him what his insecurities are, which if I don't teach you anything, nobody should know what your insecurities are. They'll unpack that as they get to know you. Because a lot of time narcissists take that and they play on that. That shouldn't even be a question that people ask. Like that's just weird. Weird question. You know what I mean? So like, I'm telling you, that's not something that like. What are my insecurities? Why? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like why? How about what makes me feel secure?
Right.
How, you know what I mean? Like I don't even understand why that was a question, but okay. You know what I mean?
And that's literally a better way to ask the same question.
Literally. So, but that's here nor there. She asked that question. I'm going to be honest. As soon as she came in, she doesn't give me the vibe that she's serious about this.
No, she doesn't.
And I like Ciara. I love a good. I'm a girl's girl. I love a good looking girl. I love a fun girl.
Like she can hang. Like she fun.
She seems absolutely positively fun, but she also seems like she is not here for any of these humans.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. But she sits down, she asks silly questions to this man, and he answered like, I don't have any insecurities, which was weird, but I don't know what's more weirder, her asking it or his answer.
I think, like you said, people are, especially in this phase of dating, they trying to lead with their best selves. So for him, it just felt like a interview answer. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's trying to get the job. He's not going to tell you that he shows up late, typically, especially on Mondays. Like he's not going to do that.
That's true.
So his answer wasn't weird to me. He sounded like an employee who was being interviewed. And to me, it was because the question was an interviewee question. You know what I mean?
Well, she goes on to ask him a good question, which is, how are you in relationships? And he says, I'm detail oriented. Like if I notice that you like something or something like that, I'll pick it up. Well, she was like, well, I like Birkin bags, which I know we're all watching Shira 7. And we all are the girls who are about our bag, the bag, and dime bags.
Everybody getting a bag, though.
But
that's not what the census say.
That's not even it for me. I think what it is for me is, what exactly are you here for? Because if you were here for this love process, whatever the hell that mean, yeah, I don't know that would be something that I say. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I like Birkin bags to a man that I'm on my first date with. But if you in your Shira 7 era, which, how old is she? 31? I think she a little on the young side, but she moving into that if 31 is the truth.
I don't know who Shira is, but it doesn't really matter. You're dating, right? This is all a part of, basically being on a show like this because you need help with this type of thing, right? And that's not how you lead with a relationship. Now, I kind of took it as a joke, you know what I mean?
And it was a joke, and she said that.
Yeah, I took it as her being funny because she's the funny girl on the show, right?
The problem is that it was a joke. He answered it with a real question. Let's say I'm unable to do that for you. Right. What does that look like for you?
Which told me that he didn't take it as a joke, right? So context matters, I guess. If you was in a room, maybe it came off different. Like I said, to me, it came off as a joke. Had one of these other women said it, maybe I wouldn't have took it that way. But I took it as a joke to him. It didn't translate that way for him. So like you said, he answers with a serious question.
We're watching her. We're 5 episodes into watching Ciara, so we have a different purview of her than he does.
Right.
So without
because he really don't even know her.
This human,
right? He don't even know her.
This is our first date together.
Yeah.
I don't even know that is how you make jokes. But where she leans in, because she could have just Because she did say I'm kidding or something like that, I think.
No, I don't think she did it in the moment.
Okay. Maybe she didn't. But I didn't have a problem with how he responded.
I didn't either.
Because if you can say something just that bold, ask for $50,000 bag, you can also be like, listen, so in the event that I'm unable to get you that,
let's talk scenarios.
Let's talk scenarios, since that's what we're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I actually didn't have an issue with that, but I felt like her issue was that he even asked about it.
Yeah, which is hypocritical to me.
Which felt a tinge hypocritical. I'm with her trying to get, girl, do what she was just joking. I do believe that. But she said her finances intimidate men.
Oh, again? I didn't even catch that.
She said that's something that she doubts. A lot of times her finances intimidate men.
How do these men that don't know you know about your finances? That would be my question.
But that's the problem, because y'all only half listening to Shira 7. Because in truth, I tell people all the time, I don't have no money. Okay? I ain't got none. He got the money. When we go out, I be looking at him. He got the money. Don't be asking me what to pay for. But y'all not listening. Everything is about, I could do this, I could do that. We know, baby. We know you're grown. I just said this to a young woman, which I'm just realizing the more I talk to people in the world, women really are not going through something, but are in a space where they just not taking no BS, okay, baby? And they are really like the men. The women's is the men's and the men's is the women's, okay? Because these girls is out there like, they buying dinners and doing this and doing that. And I'm not an old girl, but I ain't a young girl. And I just don't remember those times, like where we was just out here paying for dinners and everything. Like, I don't remember this.
But it's just for me, like we talked about a while ago about, getting more with honey. It just, to me, it goes back to the question of what is it that you want? You know what I mean? If you lead with these type of brash, almost masculine, tendencies, how is it that you expect to get the things that you really want? You know what I mean? Like it's like we were talking, we was joking about the thing that went viral with the girl who's cast in Snow White, and somebody we was watching a TikTok video, and on the TikTok video the lady says, talking about her comment, you're upset because Snow White got saved by a man. And she was like, do you know how many...
Some of us want that.
She was like, do you know how many women out here that want to be saved by a man? You know what I mean? So my thing is, if that's what you want, how are you leading with this? If I was speaking to Sierra, how are you leading with your finances? If you don't know this man, he doesn't know how much money you make. He don't know the car you drive.
He don't even know you to be intimidated. So what you just did was lay a seed.
1,000%.
About that. My thing is, if the idea that he asked you, what if I wasn't able to do that? Like, what if he didn't say I would not be able to do that.
Right.
He said, what if I had a rough month, rough patch, and I'm unable to do that? So that's not even saying that I'm not willing to.
Yeah. He's just trying to gauge your reaction, your temperature.
He's just trying to see what you're here for. It just was fascinating how it was turned around in the women's lounge. But, I don't know why. Sierra's here because she cute.
Period. That's it.
And I think she cute too. But that's why she here. Marvin and Katarina.
Marvin. Oh, Marvin.
Marvin probably should have been
on another show with Sierra. Because Marvin is not here for the love. I don't know what. It's weird. Like, Marvin he wants the love, but he want love in his own way. That's not really what nobody else is looking. He want that poly love. He want the dungeon love. He want a lot of different types of love. That's really not what most of these people have come for. And it's weird to me that he doesn't understand that. He like, what? Like, I'm just out here being myself. Bruh.
So same critique though as Sierra. It's almost like you're leading with this.
Yeah.
Like you don't want people to kind of get to know you. I am of the belief you could have a partner and do just about anything with them if you like have that relationship.
Yeah.
You do not have this relationship with women. So for you to lead with sexuality in a place where people are supposed to be looking for love, to me is extremely counterproductive.
Isn't it? It's weird.
It's extremely counterproductive because what woman don't want a man to worship their ass? But do I want to know that in the first conversation?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You don't even know her. Like,
you don't even know You feel like a predator.
But it is predatorial because, one thing as a man, you only speak to certain women that way due to a lack of respect for that woman, right? Even in my young days when I was running and gunning in the streets, it wasn't nothing dumb about me. So if I say something crazy out my mouth, I would never say that to Zar, right? Or somebody, you know what I mean? Like, to me, as a man at that age, you should know that before these women get to any part of hearing what you're saying, it's immediately coming off as disrespectful. And it's weird. It's weird that at that big age of 41, you don't understand that. And you're taking it as, well, they just don't like me because it's just me being me. Like, not only that, but you're using phrases like forced orgasm. That sounds like rape to me. I don't know why you would say that to anyone out loud, especially in a room.
What does that even mean?
It sounds
but don't look it up.
It sounds like prison time. Like, you should never be saying that in a room full of women who you do not know.
And that's what I think it is. I think there's a lack of respect for the station that women should hold in your space. Like, I think if you're a gentleman, first of all, even Christian Grey was a gentleman.
Who that?
From the Black Joan, from 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh,
even Christian Grey wasn't walking around with whips and chains on him. You know what I mean? Even he was a gentleman. He eased her into it. Then she had the whips and chains. You don't know. Because why? Because I created a space that felt safe for this human, for them to express something in the manner that I would like for them to express it. So it's just weird to me if you're so into all of these things that you're not understanding of how important it is to create an environment of safety first.
Yeah.
Respect first.
He's too old for that. I mean, it's really like, I would be shocked if a 20-year-old did something like that, but you're 41 and don't understand how to speak to these grown women. That's weird to me.
So how do you feel? Do you think that you can have a lifestyle where you like things like, ass worship or forced orgasms and could be monogamous?
I think you can do the one thing that we talked about a while ago is marriage is customizable. It is not, every marriage is customizable to however you want it to go. And this goes for now non-married folks as well. You could make your relationship what you want to make it. I think if you want to be swinging from ceilings, you want to go to the dungeon, you want to go to the car keys party, you can do that and be with your partner. 1,000%. But that comes with a level of understanding, and that comes with a level of familiarity and comfortability. And you can't be at this big age and not understand that you will not have none of that with these women who known you for like 3 weeks.
And they're speaking honestly from a place of a lack of knowledge of this.
Right.
So now you're offended,
right?
Because you're talking to people who have no knowledge of this, but you led.
Right. Because the odds are at least one out of these 10 women will be down.
And it's not up for debate.
I mean, that's just what the numbers say. You know what I mean?
It's not up for debate.
That's what the numbers say.
But you thought on national television they was gonna let you know that?
Yeah, no way. You're clueless, bro. You're clueless. And it wasn't because they was rejecting you being you. That, like, come on.
But I do think you could still be monogamous and like all of those things.
1,000%.
They're not. They're exclusive.
1,000%.
One has nothing to do with the other.
No, not at all.
And it's also a sign of immaturity that you think that.
Oh, 1,000.
Like, it says a lot. Not immature as a person, immature in dating, immature in relationship. Because if you don't understand how you could absolutely do both of those things.
Let me tell you something. Having the comfort of your own relationship to get weird in is wonderful. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's talk about Janelle went on a date with Jack. And I kind of like it. He's 34. She's 41, 42.
Ooh, okay.
So there is an age gap.
I know she mentioned it, but I didn't remember what her age was. It's not really that crazy to me, though.
I don't think it's that crazy either.
No, because he's 34, not 24.
Right. So and I thought that they had a very transparent and good conversation. They spoke about, she was honest, like, I want to have children and I want to be married. And, he said, well, she said, that's based on my age, we got a tight timeline.
Yeah.
And he just was like, I don't think that it should take long. Like, I don't think we have to be doing this for a long time.
He's into her. And that's just the response that you get from somebody who's genuinely into her. That's one of the relationships on the show that's cool to watch, because you could tell they just have a real mutual a bond with each other. They really into each other. So it's cool to watch.
I'm not here for Janelle and Herbert. I think Janelle
is, I think if Janelle had to rank, Herbert would rank over Jack. She's feeling Herbert.
But I think one of the reasons Herbert will rank over Jack is because Herbert's a little bit older than Jack. And I think that she's taking that into account. Like, maybe, Jack might be a little bit too young for me. But I also think that it's very clear that Jack is into her. But into her. I don't get that Herbert is into her. I think he's into her. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah.
Into her. But not into her.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean? Because to me, you're not into me if I gotta ask you to text me. The moment I come to the point where I tell you that you need to step up your game, I'm on to the next game. We was playing checkers, now I'm playing chess.
Yeah, it told me he wasn't that into her when you invited another one of your love interests out on a date with her.
Well, I think that's production. I wouldn't give him that.
Well, he said he did, but he said
he wouldn't say production told me to do this.
No, but he said that he wanted to do it. Like, that's what he led the segment with. And I just thought you wouldn't do that if this is your main genre. That's what you going after. You wouldn't do that. You would just you would just make a double date and bring somebody who your man was into.
Because inversely, Jack wasn't giving Katerina
at all. Jack was not at all here for her.
And Katerina, bad bitch.
No,
but he was giving her dust. You know what I mean? If we're keeping it 100. So yeah, but I did appreciate their conversation, their transparency, and just being able to see grown folks have a good conversation about where they want to be. I didn't feel like it was overt. No. I felt like it gave room. And she spoke about, the age difference could be a thing. And I just think I like Jack and I like her. And I want to move on to Herbert and Kira. I don't have much to say about them because, honestly, something about Herbert I do not like, and I don't know what it is, but I'm a vibe person. Y'all know I'm a witch. And I know y'all don't believe in them pagan things, whatever BS y'all was saying. But as, you know what I mean, a vessel for my ancestors,
okay, you don't like her. What is wrong with Herbert?
One, he said that he's a nonchalant guy, right?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. He has several interests. Each and every interest has said the same thing. He does not communicate. He don't get him no attention. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. I think he is one of those black men because all black women are vying for the same type of black man. Let's keep it at 1 million. Y'all all want somebody who tall. Y'all all want somebody who's successful. Y'all want him to have this kind of shaped head with a beard. And let's keep it at that. Am I lying?
Nah.
That he has gotten accustomed to
being that guy. Oh, wow. It's funny. I never.
Damn, I did that good, didn't I?
You did, because I didn't. I don't get that from him. I'm not looking at it from a woman's perspective. I don't get that.
But you wouldn't get that from you.
But maybe I would. I don't know. but no, the way you presented it definitely made sense. So yeah.
I don't even think he knew how to treat a woman like the prize, because so many women have put him, oh my God, he's so tall. He ain't even that good. I mean, respectfully to me, he ain't even like.
Yeah.
Janelle and Jack look good.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I think speaking about him and Kira, I think Kira should have.
She must go home.
Been sent home. Like I don't even know why she's still here. She done made it under the radar. I'd have sent her home even before Unique.
But does she even have any connections? Like,
I don't feel like she does. I just feel like she's just sneaking under the radar, and I just don't see it. I just don't know why she's still there. Her whole thing with when she said that Janelle brought up the "I'm the whitest person in the room" comment this episode, but she said that many episodes ago.
Yes.
And I thought it was weird as hell to say then, and I would have kicked her off then.
But not only was that weird, You then turn around and say Jack is somebody who would date, looks like somebody who would date white women.
I mean, was that not one of the weirdest segments on the show?
What? Now. Stereotypically, even then, I don't get it. I was trying to give her a little bit of room. I don't get it.
It was just one of the weirdest segments on the show, especially because
he gave no indication of that.
But how does anybody give an indication? He's just living his life, and he's on a show full of black women. It was just
imagine that.
It was just so silly to say, but one
of his connections is one of the darkest women on the show.
Not only that, but let's think about
before we get there.
Let's think about the messenger. This is one of the peoples who have brought up the white woman comment multiple times before that. I'm the whitest person in the room. I got a lot of she say something about having a bunch of white friends, and I mean it's just weird.
But what that said, because she asked Jack, does he date white women, which was weird, and I'm glad he was like, nah, I'm done with that. But what this says to me is that Jack was somebody in your past, your previous life, whatever, is a symbol of a man that you liked. That was dating white women. That's it.
Or that curved you.
That's what I'm saying.
You obviously have a desire to be white adjacent.
Because even for you to say that, like I have white, like girl, what?
I'm the whitest person in the room.
It's 2023. We all got white friends.
Yeah, that was weird.
Are you kidding me? Like, you know what I mean? It's just weird. And I'm glad they gathered her.
Yeah, and I'm glad Janelle took it straight to her with that comment of what kind of claim to fame is that?
But before Janelle gathered her. Before Janelle and Jessica gathered her, Marie, whom I like a little fluffy daddy, but I like Marie's personality. He black. He said he black like this, not like this.
Period.
And that, he wants to be with somebody who is personifying blackness, black culture, black love.
And black power. Okay. Period.
And he said that.
And
you know what I mean? And for some odd reason, she was offended, Kira, by that and tried to make it a thing.
The wannabe white woman in her was obviously offended.
Which felt very Karen-esque.
It's so crazy.
It's so ironic.
Send her home, please.
It felt very Karen-esque. Because to me, all he did was ask the same question you in turn asked Jack.
Right.
He literally asked the same question. And he asked it based on you, not based on what your preference might be.
Right.
He asked you, would you be down for that?
Right.
And I can
based off of the statements that you've been making all along. This wasn't a cold call like you've been doing to people. You know what I mean? He's noticed a pattern. They all have noticed it. Janelle alluded to it. They all have noticed these comments. And I'm sure, again, they are filming 1,000 hours and then airing like 20,
for sure.
Right?
Not enough for debate.
So I'm sure she has said more weird stuff out her mouth.
It was clear that they chopped the fight.
For sure.
It was very clear that they chopped, not the fight, but the disagreement that the women had. It's very clear that they chopped that because it almost was like, huh?
It was very
and then
jumpy.
Went to the next thing, right?
Yeah, it was very jumpy.
Now, Kira is just really exhausting, but I'm glad Marie stood his ground and said, I need to ask because I know what kind of life I lead.
1,000%.
And if you took it away, I apologize, but I'm speaking from where I want to be with whom I want to be with. In the same way that you saying I'm judgy, you doing the same damn thing. Talking about, well, I think you misjudged my personality. No, I think we got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
We all see it.
And your efforts to be aligned with Caucasian Americans.
Yeah, it's weird.
You played
very
yourself.
Weird. But don't worry, she'll be going home soon.
She's going next week. It's not up for me. But yeah, so that was the thing. They put the new bombshell, whose name we cannot remember. It doesn't matter because he's off the show anyway. Marvin and Marie in the bottom three. And I already knew who was going home.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And in truth, I don't even like that Marie was in the company of those other
Me
two
neither.
men.
It just felt like, we got to pick three.
Right.
So this is low-hanging fruit. You know what I mean?
And it felt like that, but I ain't like that. And I really hope that he's going to get something out of this because he just seems, I don't know, he seems mad genuine.
Yeah, he seemed like a thorough dude.
He really does. Like something about him seems mad thorough. So this is really a fascinating group of people. Okay?
Yeah.
Janelle gathered Miss Kira in the thing. You gonna call him Marvin. You just went on a date with him. So now he Marvin.
And you ain't going on that many dates. Let's be honest. So.
Ain't nobody trying to see you. You so busy trying to be, you know what I mean, Karen.
Right.
That you forgetting that you Kira, ho. I got a black dad and a black. We can prove it. We can't tell.
It's so weird.
It's so odd.
She said, "Oh, you know what else she said that was low key offensive? Well, you know, people assume that I'm a certain way because I talk proper."
Who more educated than black women?
Like what?
Who is more educated and accomplished than black women?
So to Janelle's point, to you, whenever whiteness means upper class, it means educated, right? So if you speak educated, to you, Kara, you speak white.
But guess what?
This is weird.
If you speak uneducated or if you speak not white, that doesn't make you uneducated.
Right.
There's plenty of people who choose to speak the way that their people in the area, the cohort that they have grown up in, and the dialect that they have learned, in the spaces that they have been in. That's real life. If you go to London, and some people, you literally can go across the country in London, and different neighborhoods have different dialects.
Right.
Now, they all speak in the King's English.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's just like, it says a lot that you will deprecate your own.
It's self-hate.
It's weird.
It's self-hate.
And then try to gaslight us like we ain't just see it.
Right. It's
Are
self-hate. She can go.
Justice for Maria. He wasn't even supposed to be there. Justice for my man. I like you, Maria. Do not listen now. Listen to me good. Don't mess this up because I like you a lot.
They gonna vote him off though.
I don't want him to.
Yeah.
I like him.
I do too.
He just seemed like a good guy.
I do too, but I don't think he gonna last much longer.
But my picker could be off, child. I ain't been picking for a while, so you know what I mean. This was fun. I'm glad we did it. Bust down. Let us know how you guys are feeling. Who are you feeling this season? What are you thinking? And then we'll be back next week with another one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Peace.